What is MCL 257.321 surrender of license, replacement in Michigan? Losing the ability to drive in Michigan can affect work, daily responsibilities, and overall stability. Understanding how MCL 257.321 works is important because the law outlines what happens when a driver's license is suspended or revoked and what steps must be taken before driving again. The statute explains when a license must be surrendered, how it is handled by the Michigan Department of State, and when someone may apply for a replacement once the suspension period ends. This framework shapes the process that drivers must follow and helps clarify what is required to regain driving privileges. MCL 257.321 requires individuals whose licenses are suspended or revoked to surrender the physical license to the Department of State, which then destroys it. At the end of a suspension period, the person may apply for a replacement license. The law is designed to formalize the surrender process and ensure compliance with the terms of a suspension or revocation. This applies to situations arising from offenses such as operating while intoxicated, drug-impaired driving, reckless driving, exceeding allowable points, failing to appear in court, failing to pay fines or judgments, driving without insurance, and driving while already suspended or revoked. Not surrendering a license when required can result in extended suspensions, fines, or additional legal consequences, and courts and the Secretary of State work together to enforce the requirement. A driver must surrender the license promptly after receiving a suspension or revocation notice. This is done at a local Secretary of State branch office, and certain documents may be needed, including the official notice and identification. Delays or failure to surrender the license can create further complications, including added penalties and obstacles in the reinstatement process. Retaining a license that is no longer valid can also disrupt future efforts to restore driving privileges, making compliance essential for anyone seeking reinstatement later on. Restoring a license after surrender involves completing the full suspension or revocation period, meeting all legal obligations, and, in revocation cases, pursuing a driver assessment and appeal division hearing. Individuals may need to show proof of treatment, sobriety, completion of programs, or other requirements depending on the case. After fulfilling these obligations, reinstatement fees and a formal application must be submitted to the Michigan Secretary of State. Drivers must avoid operating a vehicle until reinstatement is complete. Challenges can arise from administrative errors, delays in court notifications, multiple suspensions, or failures to comply with judgments, all of which can prolong the process. Guidance from a lawyer can assist in preparing for hearings, addressing gaps in compliance, and strengthening the case for reinstatement. Legal issues connected to MCL 257.321 often include failures to surrender a license on time, court communication errors, unresolved judgments, and overlapping suspensions from different offenses. Some individuals face extended suspension periods not because they failed to meet requirements, but because the proper notifications were delayed. Others may unintentionally continue driving on a suspended or revoked license, leading to further penalties. An attorney can help review the circumstances, determine whether administrative mistakes contributed to delays, and work on resolving the issues affecting reinstatement. A law firm familiar with Michigan's license restoration process can also communicate with the Department of State, help organize required documentation, and represent drivers during proceedings tied to their suspension or revocation. Understanding how MCL 257.321 works can make the process less overwhelming and help you take steps toward restoring your driving privileges. If you are dealing with a suspension or revocation and need support navigating Michigan's requirements, Michigan Defense Law is available to discuss your situation with clarity and care. You can reach them at 2525 South Telegraph Road, Suite 100, Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, 48302, United States, or by calling 248-451-2200 to speak with a lawyer or attorney who can help you move forward.